CQ RAYNET. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control with the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communication. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, news, opinions and information. Additional information and announcements should be available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you're instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat what I've heard, and if you're not acknowledged, then please try again, and if you miss your turn, I will be calling for strays at the end of the different country areas. So I'll now begin taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net, as usual, in call sign number order. So any stations with figure 8, and their call sign wishing to check into the net, please call now. This is G4 NRC.
G4 NRC, Golf 8, Kilo Lima Charlie. Good afternoon, Greg.
Golf 8, Echo Yankee. Name is Mike. Good afternoon, Greg. Golf 8, Sierra Delta Uniform. Name is Bob. No traffic. In and out, Greg.
This is G4 NRC, so I've got Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, and Mike, Golf 8 Echo Yankee staying with me, and Bob, Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform. Happy New Year to you, Bob. Copy to you in and out. Any other 8s, please? G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, nothing heard from the 8s, so stations figure 7, and that call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. Golf 7, Echo Hotel, G780H, Graham.
Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg.
G4 NRC has got Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, and Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Any other 7s, please? G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, no 7s heard or seen, so it's 6s. Stations figure 6, and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over.
Six November Yankee India, Alan, in and out, please, Greg. I will be listening.
G4 NRC's got Alan, Mike 6 November Yankee India, and okay, Alan, no problem, you're listening, but in and out. Any other 6s, please? G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, no more 6s, so any 5s, stations figure 5, and then call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. NRC, no 5s, so we'll go for 4. Stations figure 4, and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over.
Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, Phil, over.
Chief 4 NRC, he's got Phil, Golf 4, Hotel Uniform Foxtrot. Good afternoon to you, Phil. Any other 4s, please? Chief 4 NRC, over. Chief 4 NRC, nothing seen or heard, so it's 3s. Stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead. Chief 4 NRC, over.
Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel, Winchester, Chris. No traffic in and out, and Happy New Year. G3VH.
Chief 4 NRC, good afternoon, Chris. Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel, copy to you in and out, so Happy New Year to you. Seen some pictures from Winchester already, but my particular inmate isn't coming back down to Winchester for another week or so yet. Any other 3s, please? Chief 4 NRC, over. Chief 4 NRC, if there's no 3, let's go for 2. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, including the intermediate 2s. Go ahead now, Chief 4 NRC, over.
2 Echo 0 Charlie Mike Sierra calling from Midway.
Chief 4 NRC, good afternoon, Colin. 2 Echo 0 Charlie Mike Sierra. Any other 2s, including intermediate 2s, please? Chief 4 NRC, over. NRC, nothing heard, so it's the 1s then. Stations figure 1 in there. Call sign, please go ahead. Chief 4 NRC, over.
Golf Mike 1, X-ray Echo Alpha, Peter, and New Year greetings to everybody. Back to you, Greg. Over.
Chief 4 NRC, good afternoon, Peter. Golf Mike 1, X-ray Echo Alpha. Happy New Year to you as well. Any other 1s, please, for Chief 4 NRC, over. Chief 4 NRC, nothing heard, so let's go for the Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please go ahead now. Chief 4 NRC, over.
Zero LOM, Paul, in and out.
Mike 0 Whiskey X-ray Golf, Shirley, in and out. Thank you, Greg.
Mike 0 India Tango Mike, and the incoming of Shirley. Happy New Year to all. In and out, Greg. Thank you.
Is Chief 4 NRC. The stream will have shown me praying a little bit as how many M0s I was going to get. So it's good afternoon, Paul. Mike 0 Lima Oscar Mike. Good afternoon, Shirley. Mike 0 Whiskey X-ray Golf. And to Andy, Mike 0 India Tango Mike. Happy New Year to all, and you're all copied as in and out. Any other Mike 0 stations for any regional secondary identifier, please? Chief 4 NRC, over.
Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha. Good afternoon, Greg.
Chief 4 NRC. Good afternoon, Alan. Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha. Okay, let's go down to the Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please go ahead now. Chief 4 NRC, over.
Golf Whiskey 0 Juliet Lima X-ray. Good afternoon, Greg, and a happy new year to everybody. Name is Andy. No traffic, so in and out today, please. Over.
G4NRC, good afternoon Andy, happy new year to you. Golf Whiskey 0 Juliet Lima X-ray, copied in and out. I'm just hoping Alan appreciates. Do try and avoid him being the last person on the net, but we do our best. Any other Golf 0 stations please, if any regional secondary identifier, go ahead now. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard. Are there any United Kingdom stations and the UK stations who've missed their turn to call in, who wish to call in now, please do so. G4NRC, over.
So G4KL.
G4KL, good afternoon Philip. Sorry, I'm trying to finger type there. And Alan is no longer the last on the list. Fantastic, thanks for that. Okay, any other UK stations that missed their turn, go now, over. For NRC, then finally the call for any international liaison stations. The list is growing, so Nodsam Bandit Norway, Aaron in Ireland, MCOM Spain, Slovak Republic, we're getting a lot now, so any international stations please go now. G4NRC, over.
Lima Alpha 6 in your mate, name is Hans. Happy New Year, and in and out.
Echo India 5, India Echo Bravo. So I'm here in Dublin, no traffic from me, Craig, so in and out. For NRC has got Hans, Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, and Tom, Echo India 5, India Echo Bravo. Both in and out. Happy New Year to both of you. Sure you'll be listening for a little while yet. Any other international stations, please? G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard. Right, appreciating the stations that are in and out. So, good afternoon all. Reminder the net is being live streamed by Graham G7NEH to YouTube. In the usual manner, the live stream and recording will be available by searching G7NEH, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on youtube.com. Happy New Year to everybody. Apologies, but it is a time-constrained net today as I need to close by 16:45 to go and get to a basketball game. But we've got a whole year to talk about our Christmas presents, so let's spread out the fun. With the current focus on energy resilience, I'm pleased to note that the extended Christmas holidays have allowed UK gas storage to be topped up after being hit in the cold snap before Christmas, and currently stand at around 80% full. While higher demands as possible, as most people return to work tomorrow, the weather outlook is in energy terms at least warmer than usual, so while the situation continues to be monitored closely, we're in as good a shape as we can be in. RAYNET made the news in Jersey on Friday with an item in the Jersey Evening Post describing how two members of Jersey RAYNET were tasked with locating a signal from a personal locator beacon which had been triggered in their area. RMLI and rescue could only find the thing with an accuracy of 20 kilometres because it wasn't GPS enabled. The suspicion was it was a false alarm as the PLB had been reported as discarded and could have been coming from on land. So RAYNET was asked to check whether they could detect it, which they could, and the location was confirmed as the local recycling centre, where a pile of discarded electronics had been disturbed earlier in the day. Well done to those involved for doing a bit of a DF hunt. And in today's news, a 7 magnitude earthquake has been reported in the Vanuatu area of the Pacific this afternoon. No information yet on any amateur radio involvement or HF frequencies in use. But a frequent problem is that there are few to no amateurs on some of these islands. Okay, that's all I've got for church notices, so we'll go to the top of the list. I'm Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, G4NRC, over.
It's G4LRC in the group, G8KLC. Well, I'll keep it short. Happy New Year to one and all. Hopefully this year will be better than last. And following the email conversation we had, Greg, just before Christmas, Judy sent the email off, in fact, twice, and I've had no reply whatsoever, not even an acknowledgement. So there's something else for your own meeting, perhaps. Other than that, nothing else from G8KLC.
And I'll see back to G8KLC. Okay, thanks, Phil. I wasn't going to be looking for an update on that. So 2 emails, got no response to request. Peter will note that there'll be something we'll want to talk about at the COM meeting this Friday. Okay, thanks for that. See you next one. Next term, that is, not next week. Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, update from you, please. G4 and RC, over.
G4NRC from G8EEY. Well, I've still got my voice left. Yeah, 8 centigrade, 989 millibars, 86% relative humidity, 100% cloud cover, 20 mile an hour winds and 204 degrees. About an hour and a half ago, I went over to the local shop to get some food. It was nice and dry. I was in there for about 15 minutes. When I came out, it was monsoon, and the water was already pooling about 2 inches deep outside. So some interesting weather going around. So we do get bomb cyclones as well. Yeah, all quiet in Norfolk side of things. We've got a mini Lima next Tuesday. Whether I shall make that visit to the NRF, I don't know. It depends on how this horrible croaky lurgy goes on. So I think that's about it for the moment from G8EEY.
Right, Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC. Okay, I've not got travel looking over my shoulder, so I can't, while I'm doing the logs, so I can't let you know how well I managed to log the rest of that. Interesting, you've got a mini Lima exercise, the power fail exercise next Tuesday. I'm wondering if this is continuing to refine what's going on with the next national exercise cropping up in March. So all the lessons that we'll learn from Lima around the country are going to get chased down in March in a bigger exercise. Very unlikely we'll get to play in that. It'll be, I think, just between the LRF leads, no VAs involved, but we'll see. Okay, next to Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, G4LRC, G7LEH, returning. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg, and good afternoon to all on the net. Just want to wish everyone a happy new year, and thanks for supporting the live stream through last year. So on the last net we had on the 18th, I think it was, seems ages ago now, we had about 20 views of that stream and about 4 likes. So yeah, not a lot else to add from this end. Not done much radio-wise, so I'll pass it back to Greg. G4NRC, G7NEH.
Try that again since we have a race on the bridge between Blip on the Brandmeister side. G4 and RC returning. Thanks, Graham, for the view figure for the 18th. Shame we didn't have the nets over the Christmas period, but it didn't seem right to be doing one on Christmas Day, post-Christmas dinner for many of us. So we're pleased to see that the numbers attending have come back to exactly where they should be, which is great. and hopefully you'll see that in your streaming data this coming week. Okay, next to Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. Happy New Year to yourself and to everyone on net. I hope, as others have said, 2023 is a better year than 2022. Not a great deal to add this end. Became a proud father of a ICOM 7300 last week, so just been setting that up with a lot of help from Gray on G7AH, and all that's working. And the 40-metre bubble seems to have burst as well, thankfully. So we've had some good results on 40 metres from where I live up in Cheshire, whereas it wasn't working previously. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Seven Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, well, as we discussed yesterday, nice that you've managed to beat the issues that you had on 40 metres. It's all working well. 40 metres was apparently quite active today, as well as yesterday with the contest, so plenty to play with. But at least, as you say, you've got a new toy now, and maybe we might think about tweaking the West Cheshire RAYNET nets, and maybe we should throw a HF test in there just for amusement if the days line up nicely. On a more local basis than the national HF tests. Okay, still in Cheshire, up to Phil. Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Good afternoon, all. Happy New Year. And it looks as though this is my first attempt to get in on the net proper in that regard. So I'm quite chuffed about that. We finally got there. So that's the most exciting bit of news from this location. Anyway, back to you, Greg. This is G4HUF.
G4HUF, G4NRC returning. Yes, you're right. This is like first time actually within the net envelope, and all's working fine. No packet loss. Everything looks like it's perfectly on frequency, just the way it should be. Yeah, if that's your excitement. Mine, as the smell in the office here reminds me, is I managed to blow up a nano VNA H yesterday. So the smell from the dead power supply unit is the inverse side of your success and my anti-success. So there's balance in everything, Phil. Okay, next to Colin, Echo Zero, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, from 20 CMS. Yeah, afternoon, Greg. Happy New Year, all. Not quite so. There's not much going on. We are doing quite a bit locally. Myself and Colin Bowman from West Kent are due to go and do a talk down at Atlantic Radio Club on Thursday, taking along the Starlink lunar satellite and demonstration of that, along with the voice over internet. We've also been asked to attend an instant liaison officers training on the 2nd of February, where we're also going to take the kit along. Do demonstrations of that, DMR radio, voice over internet, and live streaming from the drone, which I've had to get special permission for because it's taking place on an MOD site, which is restricted, and it's also within the flight restriction zone of a local airport as well, so I've had to get permission for that as well. Apart from that, I haven't really got a lot more to add at the moment. Apart from we have actually been asked to provisionally take part in the exercise in March. I think, was it exercise 90 Oak, I think it's called. But provisionally we are being asked to take part in that. So that's it for me. 20 CMS.
0 Charlie Mike Sierra G4 and RC. Okay, in reverse order. Well, that's great, because that's probably the little chip in the armour that we can use in some of the counties as well if you're involved in Mighty Oak. The forthcoming exercise has been sadly apparent how different the approach has been from local resilience forums around the country, depending, as usual, on their pre-existing relationships with the voluntary sector and RAYNET in particular going forward. Interesting, well, not interesting, but just to show how things are in parallel, looking at one of the German language groups over Christmas, some Starlink advocates have been getting heavily engaged over there, trying to get Germany looking at Starlink. And I've just had a ping to say that Tom has just relayed the Jersey RAYNET information, the news item across onto the chat group for Aaron and Ireland as well. So let's have the good news travelling fast and far as we can, I think. Okay, thanks Colin for that. Next to Peter, Golf Mike 1, X-Ray Echo Alpha, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from GM1XA. You'll be glad to hear I've nothing to report, so I won't take up much of your time. Weather information here is it's 4 degrees, but it feels an awful lot less. Back to you, Greg. Over.
G4 NRC returning. Okay, Peter, well, we go for a second round. We've got time just about to make that. Because you raise an interesting point. I have kind of felt this myself. It looks so bright and clear outside. It has done over a lot of winter, and then you just realise it is colder than you think, and wind chill doesn't help. So anybody who is going out in the wilds would probably need to bear that in mind and not be seduced by the sunny weather. Okay, 2 to go on the list. Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. For Suffolk. Yeah, the weather's a bit nasty. I'm just looking out my front window, which looks east. And that's just come over, a weather front has just come over, that's as black, completely overcast. With no gaps, nothing at all. Earlier this afternoon, I was watching the planes fly over to Stansted, so that's complete contrast. Not much happening locally apart from we've got an AGM coming up in a couple of weeks' time. All the change on the committee. We'll see how we get on. AGMs come and go. But never mind, we've got this one to come up. Nothing planned event-wise other than that through March. We've got a couple of free in the calendar after March, so we've got a little bit of time to get our heads in gear and get all that sorted out. Happy New Year to everybody, and wish everybody well and good RAYNETing. Back to you, Greg. G4RC, M0 Sound Group.
For an RC, G returning to Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha and the RAYNET-UK activity period. Okay, again, you provide the prompts, so I don't have to write much for the second round. AGM season, I think a lot of RAYNET groups have AGMs at the first quarter of the year. I know West Cheshire, we're due to organise one in February, which will be faster than I think. Can everybody please make sure that you notify your officer changes in the approved manner through to registrations? Your ZC should be able to help with this. Likewise, if there's any constitution changes, very, very small in the small print, but we do ask for a copy of those things as they happen, so we can see what rules everybody's working to. So, yeah, double prompt if you think your AGM for your group is a while off. It probably isn't. This is heading into the second week of January after all. Okay, final one on the list before I hit the second round and hopefully make my drop dead time is Philip Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G4 KIL in Sussex. Currently about 8 degrees here and a certain amount of rain around. Just 3 perhaps comments. First of all, apologies for ducking out to the HF net yesterday at the last minute. It's a bit of a genuine panic, actually, locally, just a family issue. The first time, obviously, on the DMR net, very new to DMR myself. Quite a lot of learning to do there. Fortunately, I've got some other folk in the group who seem to be well up with it, which has been a considerable help. And the South Sussex AGM was in December, actually, so we've had that, and hopefully everything's been suitably notified. Thanks for listening to the net. Back to G4 NRC, G4 KIL.
G4 KIL, G4 NRC returning. Lots to talk about there as well. So, HFNet, not a problem. I was kind of leaving it to see who remembered what the schedule was. People can get a little bit too used to prompts of what's coming next. So I have an occasional devilish streak of let's see who remembers where we should be. So that's great. Also, just to note, yeah, I did hear your earlier tests with Elodie where you were trying to link your group net on analog through onto DMR. While I was listening and thinking there must be an easier way we've got of doing this, I just haven't found one yet. But it has been on my mind how we could help you join the two nets together. And AGMs in this I'd have to have a look and see if you didn't have any officer changes, I won't need to know. But my personal prompt for some of this is when somebody emails at a last minute with a panic of, can I have a talk through permit, please? But we changed controllers and he hasn't done any of the paperwork, etc., and people don't know where to start. So I usually find out weeks after the event, if not months. So, but thanks for those updates, Philip. Certainly, yeah, your tests were definitely noted. Okay, let's hit a quick second round then, please, for any finals, and then I can close the net on time. Next, up to the top and Phil, G8KLC, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, excuse me, G8KLC. Just one question, Greg. You would have thought after 47 years plus I would know the answer. But who do you want, or who wants the group constitutions? As probably not changed very much, but would probably be worth making sure you have the updated copy, you being the COM. Who wants it? G8KLC.
G8KLC, G4NRC, they smile on the web stream showed that was a question I should have expected. I think the memo notes say, or the rules say it's to be passed to registrations, but if you pass them to your ZC, or any friendly ZC, sorry for recognising what's going on in your area, then we'll make sure to get to the right people and it gets held, but I think it's registrations that's the request. Does that help? G8KLC, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, 8KLC. Yes, I thought it might be a smile. I'll send it off to Jill.
LC, G4NRC, yeah, I'll have to get out of the game very quickly with Jill and say she's about to get hopefully besieged by lots of people sending through constitutions and can file them appropriately. But yeah, it's a question that just needs re-provoking once in a while. It does reveal how many haven't changed things in many, many years or decades in the case of my zone. So some things do have to be updated once in a while. Okay, thanks for coming on today, Phil. Talk to you next week. Next to Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G8EEY. I can't remember whether I ever sent a copy of our constitution to Jill. Perhaps I ought to look into that, but it certainly hasn't changed a great deal since we managed to sort out some things some years ago. I'll look into that. From G8EEY.
Eight Echo Echo Yankee, G4NRC returning. Yeah, I've just triggered a whole deluge of people doing something now, which is still kind of smiling, but we'll see what the consequences are later. Okay, thanks, Mike. Talk to you on Friday at the con meeting, all being well. Next to Graham, G7NEH. How many live views have we got at the moment, Graham? G4RC, over. G4RC, G7NEH. Right, we have about 4 live views at the moment. And a couple of us in the chat box. So there we go. That's the state of play today. I've just been playing about with some OBS overlays, etc. Hope that's okay. Any comments, please leave in the comments section. And I'm now able to do posts, community posts on YouTube. So with the number of views we've had, so that's another one. I put one out today just to let people know that the net was being streamed. So with that, nothing else to add, and thanks for doing the net, Greg, and we'll see you all we'll listen to you all next week. G4NRC, G7NEH. G7NEH, G4NRC. Yeah, I'm hoping, having had a few hours upgrading the laptop here today, I'll be able to be on the same playing field as yourself with OBS, Open Broadcast Software. For those that don't know the initials, and see what I can do as well from here with playing with it. I've been several versions behind, and it's been getting frustrating. So as long as the laptop does come back to life on its second or third reboot, I'm winning. Okay, thanks for that. Next to Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. No, not a great deal to add this end, Greg. Just a quick heads up for anyone that needs a Raspberry Pi 3B. I had an email off the Pi Hut this morning. They have some in stock, but are only send them out individually. So if anyone needs a Pi 3B, there is some at the Pi Hut. But be quick if anyone needs them. I think they're going to disappear fast. But no, thanks very much, Greg. I will catch you in the very near future. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC. My hesitation in calling you in was I was wondering whether to say about the pies or not. So good luck if you can get one. I think the figures released were something like 100,000 or 200,000 are going to be made available, which is really a drop in the ocean given the number of people that have been trying for the last year. We'll see what happens. Phil, G4HUF, next is you, and just remembering a comment on one of your emails about using Teams for having a Dane Valley meeting. Hopefully I can report after Thursday from Merseyside that it is very doable for people even without an Office 365 address. So we should be able to help you get that sorted. G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Right, thanks for that, Greg. Interesting you mentioned that, because I'm just cobbling together one of my kind of newsletter type emails to the group, and ironically enough, I was proposing to try and organise a meet online next week. The Merseyside situation might be a little bit tight, but not to worry. However, I've still got to investigate how to set it up and run it, because I've never actually been involved with an online meeting, let alone run one. So there's a big learning curve there to sort out. I think there was a couple of other points I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what the hell they were at the moment. And bearing in mind the time and your comments about departing, I shall shut up and probably stuff an email out to you in the next day or two, G4NRC, G4HUF.
G4HUF, G4NRC. Yeah, drop me an email. I mentioned Merseyside because this will be the first trial that I haven't actually been involved in, but there's nothing at the moment telling me it's not going to work. We did have some issues pre-Christmas, but they got solved. So yeah, drop me a note. I'm hoping the Tame Teenager is getting ahead of things, so I can literally just hit the door and get it gone at the appropriate time. Okay, 732, to you. Look forward to the email. Next to Colin, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Max Sierra, G4NRC.
Yeah, from G0CMS. Yeah, nothing else from me, Greg. I'll let you get out the door. That's it for me.
G4NRC, thanks Colin. I think next week I'll need to just put down for people when the basketball season ends, and it ends for my team faster than it should do since we got kicked out of a competition early. Just so you know when it's less likely to get disrupted, we can get things done. Okay, back north of the border to Peter, Golf Mike 1 X-Ray Echo Alpha, G4NRC.
For NRC from GM1XCA, I won't hold you up at all, nothing more to report. 73 still minutes still left on the net, and hopefully speak to you next week. Over.
Just seeing how badly my signal got distorted. Next to Alan, Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, I think I got it. Good afternoon, Greg. Back to me again. Yeah, so, if you haven't there, I got 98% already. I want to say thank you, Peter, for the excellent two-part resume of the main activity in the news for the last couple of weeks, especially as you're on holiday as well. So thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. The question is on constitutions. Is there a approved format or a default RAYNET-UK constitution for groups? Question for Greg when he's come back. Other than that, have a great week and don't hold it any longer. As best 73s to you all. G4NRC and JSA.
JSA, G4NRC. Yes, there is a default group constitution. It's available on the members part of the RAYNET-UK website, as well as the SharePoint thing as well, somewhere in there. So I've dropped that into the log, Alan. I'll send you a link to it. But there is a pro forma one, and that's the assumed constitution you're following if we haven't got a copy of your real one. Hence the required desire at the moment to try and get things sorted out. Okay, final goes to Philip Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4NRC, over.
For NRC from G4K. I know you need to get away quick, so I won't to keep you on long. Just to say, we did proceed with the DMR2 FM link. Last week we were doing it. I think you may have heard us doing it on this channel earlier, but last week we were doing it on the Southside RAYNET Net Talk group. We'll be doing that again tomorrow, hopefully with a mobile hotspot as well, which will be interesting. By all means, if you want to on that one, you'd be welcome to, Greg. G4 NRC, G4KIL signing this listing.
Double blip from me that time. Okay, fantastic. Yes, your first one was on 23531. You could see the reasons why, but yeah, evolving nicely then on the South Sussex Talk group. I'll see how tomorrow falls apart for me after a day at work. Okay, thanks everyone for trying to keep me as close to time as possible. So, see the closing bit. I thank everybody for taking time out of their schedules to participate in this afternoon's net, and welcome back. Be careful, have a good week. And until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net and return 23531 Pheonix and Brandmeister 5023531 RAYNET-UK networks to a open net rather than a directed net. 7-3's all, this is G4 and I'll see now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.